show to know what to do. Just jump in the queue, it's all up to you. So what you gonna do? All in the queue, it's hella to you. All in the queue, it's check out the view. All in the queue. Be in the know, just come watch the show to know what to do. Just jump in the queue, it's hella to you. So what you gonna do? All in the queue, it's hella to you. All in the queue, just check out the view. All in the queue. Watch the show to know what to do. Just jump in the queue, it's all up to you. So what you gonna do? All in the queue, it's hella to you. All in the queue, it's check out the view. All in the queue.
Oh, y'all, excuse me, because you know how much I hate to interrupt your scroll. So let me hurry up and get through this, because you can go back to do what you got to do, and I can go back to doing what I got to do. And I made an illustration just to make it easier for everybody. All right? This is me, and this is you. Okay? And this could be a family, friend, co-worker, alone in the world with a little cat dog. I don't care who it is, to whom it may concern. However, when we get together, it is now us. You know what always gets me is when we first start out, it's always cool, calm, and collected. I like it that way. But somewhere along the lines, you realize, this is you once again, realizing that you like to play games. Okay? You have become so fascinated with playing games that now all of a sudden you think that you could play with me. Here's you thinking that you can play with me. That's crazy. It's honestly crazy, but obviously you like to live on the edge. Okay? Now, you realize that you found a new love for these games, that you want to incorporate them in your everyday lifestyle. You are dedicated to the process. You are even willing to bet it all. Now, here's this person who knows what I know, and they know that you are in a great deal of trouble, okay? What a dummy is what you call it, because to bet all of that and to only be left with my ass to kiss is diabolical. It's honestly insane if you ask me. All right now. All right, because the thing is this. Let me break it down for anybody who may be a little confused in translation. Here you are with the right idea, but the wrong bitch. Okay? It's very simple. It's extremely simple. Okay? Right idea, once again, wrong bitch. Yeah. So now that I have gotten wind of what you think is about to take place, I am pointing you in the direction of where maybe someone would like to play games, okay? Which is all the way over there, okay? Are we there yet? No. Are we there yet? No. Okay, I want you to go further, and further, and further away. You're so excited to continue on with these games that you're like, how much further do I have to go? You are so busy making your way downtown, walking fast, okay? You want to get there. You're excited. And even through all of this, even through it all, I'm still being a good Samaritan, a team player, if you will. I grab my magnifying glass because I am determined to help you find you something safe to do. All right, y'all. Well, look, share with those who need to know. Have a good one.
What up, good people? How y'all doing this evening? I hope y'all are doing well. Let me see who is in these comments. Oh, Miss Prima Donna Bridges, you was first. Hey, good evening. Ernesto, EB, good evening to you. Foxy Roxy, what it do, ma'am? Nope, not even. How you doing? Justin, my favorite troll and mod. What up with you? Wanda Smith, good evening. Kenneth Dawkins, good evening to you. I love that clip of the woman in the beginning. She is a trip, ain't she, though? Okay. Hey Tracy K, what's up? Yeah, I love that video. That woman is something. Hello, babe Solo. How are you? Good evening to you. All right, we got a bit of business to take care of today. We will be doing part 2 of the electoral board situation deep dive on Monday. Today, we have some business to attend to, and we have a special guest tonight too. Collectibles for sale. Bye. Hey, good evening. If you would hit the like button as you come in, subscribe if you haven't. Hello, first of all, hello to all the replay viewers. To all of my replay viewers that watch this in their leisure time, hello to you. Thank you. A special thank you to you. Hello to all the new subscribers. Hello to all the new members. Just everybody that is watching my content. I'm truly grateful and humbled at the same time. Yolanda Fields, how you doing? Good? Okay, good. Tonight, if you see, the topic is Thornton Township Town Hall, and we have a special guest tonight. And I felt like I needed to talk about the town hall again, because again, I want to remind you to get there early, as early as you can get there. Also, keep in mind, we will not be at the township building. We will be on a college campus. Security will be extremely tight. There will be no foolery tolerated. So I'm saying this to all of us that are not Tiffany supporters, because there may be Tiffany supporters in the building, and we need to keep our cool. Okay? We're going to amicably agree to disagree at this town hall meeting. Please. Super producer will be in the building filming. We want to keep emotions at a 1. We want to keep respect at a 10. Okay? We just need to get the business done. We need to get someone in this seat, and that is what we are there for. We're not there to argue or go back and forth with anybody. You're there to give your vote and to go home. Karen Johnson, good evening. R. Smith, good evening to you. H. Spag, good evening. Yes, hit the like button. Trina's water bill credit. Hello. Mario Tatum, you did not answer my email, but good evening to you. How are you? I hope you're well. I emailed you to check on you. She's going to try something. Nope, not in this arena. I just said we are going to South Suburban College, where she has no jurisdiction. Keep in the front of your mind that this woman owned a restaurant in this college and did not pay her rent. So do you think they like her? No. She better come there and be acting like she has every little piece of sense that she have left. That's it. Okay? So no. Brian Boyd, what's up? Tiffany don't have but 5 supporters. I don't know. Hey, First Lady Brown, how you doing? Edward Johnson, good evening to you. Pensacola, Florida. Come on now. Okay. Keefus, what's up? Thornton folks showing up to that Thornton meeting early. Can't be stressed enough. Henya doesn't want a part 2 of the caucus. She will have her folks there early. Plan now. That's Keefus. That's good advice. That's good Sound advice. Yes. And I'm sure she will, because other people will be nominated as well, I'm sure. And so we want to make sure that we're there, and we're there on time. Precise, how are you? What is cum laude? Listen, you would have to ask her, send her an email. She claims she answers her emails in her phone, but she don't. Okay, Maria. All right. So before we talk to the guests and we speak with the guests, I want to talk about again, we are going to talk about patterns, and we are going to talk about people. Now, recently, some comments being left on my videos was that I bash people. Now, good evening, Pamela. If you all have been following me, I know I have some new followers. I know that. But my regular folks that follow me, let me know in the chat if I bash people. Even Lil Stank, John Q. If you all don't follow John Q, please go over there and follow John Q. This man just had his 6-year anniversary on YouTube. Please go over there and follow him. You're gonna love his content. You're gonna love him. He's just like me. He's a straight talker. I love him. Thank you for popping in, John Q. Bach Marie Terry, ha! Come on, VA. Come on, ain't no more play in VA. Okay, tell the people in the comments. Big Baby 2, hey. Okay. I just want to make sure, because, I read my comments and I respond to my comments. Okay. But let me tell you something about the super producer you might not know. Okay. God is still working on me. Okay. Don't catch me when I got time. Okay. Because when I have time, I'm going to have time. And I'm going to do it in a classy way. Okay. But I don't bash people. I will show you their behaviors, and I will show you their patterns. Okay. And so that's what I do. Now, Lil Stank, let me tell you why I call Lil Stank Lil Stank. Hey, James Jones. Let me tell you why I call Lil Stank Lil Stank. I call her Little Stank because she claims that people be mentioning her name for clicks, likes, and views. So I don't mention her name on purpose. Okay? So that she can't be like, oh, that all of the cute lady, she just be mentioning my name for clicks, likes. Nope. You are Lil Stank over here. You will forever be Lil Stank. I will not be mentioning your name. You will be Lil Stank over here. Okay? So that's why I call her Lil Stank. And she do things that's a little stank. It fits. Okay? Hey, Minion, how you doing? Hope you're good. Glad you made it. Okay? That's why I do that. So, just to be clear, because we getting ready to talk about someone. Edward Johnson, I don't think you bash people, because look at you and me with the opinion all the time. And I think y'all are true and funny. That part. Okay. We call it like we see it. Okay. She do things that's a little stank. That's the reasoning for me. Not because she stank, but because she do things that's a little stank. Okay. So I call her Stank a Booty. Little stank. That's me. Okay. All right. Now we're going to get ready to talk about another person. And I want to show you some patterns of behavior, because we're following patterns now, right? Because we are not accepting horrible behaviors from political officials any longer, right? Okay. That's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this. Precise. I'm not doing this with y'all. Y'all can say it. Y'all can say it all day long. I said what I said about myself. But the trolls be out and they I just want y'all to know if y'all see something a little off on the comments. What it do, T from the D? Just know I got time. And God's still working on me. Okay, we got that? Okay. All right. Hey, Karan. How you doing? Okay. So, again. Let's go. So, we are going to talk about this Charles Rayburn man again. Okay? Did y'all see the video? I know y'all seen the video. Has everybody seen the video that Miss Sherry posted? Don't worry, because I have my own version of the video. Okay? We're going to talk about this Charles Rayburn. I'm going to show you all some behaviors because we're not accepting these behaviors any longer. Correct? Am I correct?
Yes.
I hope that I am correct. Okay. First thing I'm gonna show you about Mr. Rayburn. This is a Village of Dalton meeting. This particular meeting happened back in May. Okay. I was at this particular meeting, but I was outside at this meeting. Let's see. We're going to go back to, let me see what minute I got to go back to. Hold on 1 second. I wrote it down. Where did I write it down at? Oh, okay. So we're going to go back to minute 28:20. Because y'all know I bring the receipts. Don't you come over here talking no lies. Okay. So you won't last long with that BS on this channel, okay? We have mods that will not and they won't. Okay. I love my mods. Shout out to all of my mods. Shanita, Foxy Roxy, Nope Not Even, Marcus Harmon, Justin Thompson. You guys are the best ever. I love you guys deeply. Oh, and Golfer. Okay. So this meeting, and I would say that this meeting is the May 6th meeting, but I may be one meeting off, but it happened back in May. This happened back in May. I want you to listen closely to the audio. Okay? This is Mr. Rayburn harassing Ed Steve for the first time. Okay? Because super producer don't forget anything. Okay? I don't forget nothing. Okay? I keeps it all up here. Or I got my investigation notebook. Okay? Want you to listen to the audio. Okay? Listen closely to this audio conversation. Because the video is not going to show faces, but listen to the audio. Make sure the sound is up.
Somebody said this is boring, but it's better than WNBA. Somebody thought they got jokes.
Am I right? He's homeless. We were all like water, you know.
Who, Minnesota? Yeah, I know.
That's why prove me wrong.
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Tell me. I said,
What she do wrong? I'm like, Ray Charles
tell me.
but he over here saying,
Now
and
she
then he
Googled
gonna run.
me.
I sure did.
She Googled me, and what did they say? What did they say about me? They said,
Because
Rayburn did to the
you can't see.
people coming to Lake Park, basically talking about from the rain to the side. I can see, I saw that. What's his name from the city? What's his name from the city?
And tell them don't
Rayburn for Congress. Rayburn for Congress. No, Rayburn for trustee. I'm running against Ed Steve. I want that seat. You know. I'm getting her blood pressure. But they just did. Ain't no place in the world.
Okay, so y'all heard that. That was Rayburn at the meeting outside saying he didn't see anything wrong that Tiffany has done. The lady next to him, I guess she said, Ray Charles can see what she been doing wrong. Rayburn said he didn't see anything wrong with anything she done. Okay? Y'all listening? Okay. Then he says, he don't even know what he running for. Then he say he running for Congress. And the lady said, you running for Congress? You don't even know what you're running for. He said, I'm running for trustee against Ed Steve. That's the first. Okay? He didn't see, y'all heard it. He didn't see anything that Tiffany did wrong. That's what he said. Now, fast forward to the caucus. Now we're going to fast forward to the caucus. There's some feedback? Okay, let me turn it down. Hold on. Let me change the setting because I got a different setting on my mic. Okay. Is that better? Tell me if the mic is better, John. I got like a... Okay. I hope that's better. All right. Now we're going to go to the caucus. Just when I play the video? Okay. I'll turn my mic off when I play the video. Now we're going to go to the caucus, okay? I'm going to play this video from the caucus. Y'all make sure y'all listening because it's a little bit hard to hear, okay? I'm going to turn my mic off.
So that hoodie Clean House 125. This is, for y'all just jumped in, this is the Democratic caucus. So, Mr. Rayburn?
I will talk to you.
Hey.
Outside in the line with all those people, they started all that crap with me. You were standing right next to me.
I don't know nothing about
You were
that.
standing right next to me, and you wouldn't say.
I don't know nothing about that, man.
Word about it.
I don't know nothing about that.
Don't say anything about that to me.
All right, yes, sir.
Don't say anything about me. That's why you have him there.
Hey.
Because of the poison that you spit
Hey.
out.
Hey.
He's a jerk. He's a jerk who wants to be prosecuted. He's a jerk. As long as you guys keep it simple.
I know.
Silver, right? We're silver, right? We're silver. We're silver. Is that a fact? Is that a fact?
Huh?
Were you standing? Were you
Dude,
standing?
get away from me. Get away from me.
Were you standing?
Get away from me, bro. Get away from me. Anybody talking to you?
We got enough tension in here right now. I'm asking you guys to separate.
I know. I'm not trying to talk to you.
I'm asking you to do us a favor to separate until this is over, okay? I get it, just until this is over.
He's clown.
And he was a clown. Did y'all hear that? Okay, did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Ed Steve told him, I don't know anything that you're talking about. And listen, Ed Steve probably like me because I could be standing next to somebody and not even be paying attention what's going on with them and just totally minding my business because I can. Not everybody is in everybody's business. Okay? So, did y'all hear him tell Ed Steve that's why he got MS? Again, I'm just showing behaviors. I'm just showing behaviors. And this man wants to be a what? He wants to be voted in as trustee at the township. Have you lost your mind? Have you lost your mind? One last video to play for y'all. This man is out campaigning today. He comes by Sherry Britton's home. Okay. He says, this cracked me up. He says he didn't know who Sherry introduced herself, and he said he didn't know who she was. Sir, where have you been living? In Bikini Bottom?
All right, oh, okay, okay.
In the presence of 2 or 3 witnesses, okay, the Lord will hear us, all right? Now, I'm addressing one thing, Chris Gonzalez, okay, and not being here. I was at the caucus, and Chris Gonzalez was there with the young lady. I don't know who the young lady was, but he's always talking about security. He's afraid of this, the exits and everything else. Anybody else that was there, I got there about just after 4 o'clock, saw the packed caucus and all of the things that were going on. And the problems the Homewood police were saying that we're not here to run this or whatever, but how they blocked Tiffany Hinyard's supporters. That's when they got involved. Okay, but Chris Gonzalez cannot lie to us any longer and say that this is a problem here. Even though this young lady's talking about pulling out guns and whatever, everything like that. Security is right on it. So why isn't he here? Okay? Now, I'm a resident, Thornton Township, not only that, but I'm running for office myself. There's no way I can vote for Chris Gonzalez. I don't care what anybody says. Okay, because I talked to him, I asked, wait a minute, all of these meetings you missed, you here at the caucus with this young lady, and you're not afraid of all of these people all around having this search? I got that on tape right here with the Homewood police. Did you search anyone for knives, guns, or anything like that? Where the exits are? Did you empty the building? Okay, after your so-called political fundraiser and all of this stuff, to have an organized caucus in here with only Thornton Township residents, they didn't do that. Not only that, but they allowed children to stay in there and yell yay or nay. So I'm sorry, I don't really call people out by names or anything, but I'm done with Chris Gonzalez with that lie. The other young lady, whatever, I reached out to try to get her side because there's 2 sides to everything, and she hasn't responded. So we're open to your response.
1 billion, zillion, jillion, dillion, cotillion times later.
Rayburn for Dalton trustee, 40-year resident. Rayburn, Illinois licensed insurance producer. Rayburn for Dalton trustee, K through 12 licensed Illinois educator. This time don't waste your vote. Elect Rayburn. Rayburn for Dalton trustee. This time let's get it right. Elect Rayburn. Rayburn for Dalton trustee, 40-year resident. Rayburn, Illinois licensed insurance producer. Rayburn for Dalton trustee, K through 12 licensed Illinois.
Good afternoon.
This time let's get it right.
My name is Rayburn. They're not going to tell you about me, but I am on the ballot. You can vote for me in February, a couple of weeks away. We have no problem with all of the people on the House slate, except for one thing. They were all there when the money came up missing, when our taxes are going up, et cetera, et cetera. I was not in the House when the money was taken. Here's my qualifications on the back. You have a choice. 4 trustees. 4. Let me be one. There's a checks and balance against whoever else you select, the man or the woman. Can I leave that with you?
My name is Sherry Britton. You should know of me.
No,
I'm
I don't.
all over YouTube. Well, see, that's how I know you. You can't be out there.
Well, once again, I'm here 40 years. Can I leave that with you?
My name is Sherry Britton. You should know of me.
No, I
I'm
don't.
all over YouTube. Well, see, that's how I know you. You can't be out there.
But once again, I'm here 40.
20,
Nobody.
26.
Okay, 40 years plus before constables and everyone. Vote for whoever you want. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They were there when the money was taken.
Yeah,
it was their
and they've been
responsibility.
working. They've been working to try and get that fixed.
That's not the deal.
That is the deal. I go to the meetings. You don't go to the meetings.
God bless you. I came to the meeting before Cleo Jones had a scouting house, a scouting building, and we got that for Shaw. They met at my house. I'm not talking about.
Where is this man coming from? Where? He got to be living in Bikini Bottom. He got to be in Bikini Bottom. Because Sherry Britton opens up her door and says, I'm Sherry Britton and you don't know who she is. Confusion for me. Where are these people coming from that live in Dalton and have been living in Dalton for 40 years, and now all of a sudden they want to start yelling at their neighbors, yelling at the residents, telling this, saying that. You trying to supposedly run for a seat, but you're running down the other trustees. You're running down the other people. And when he got up there and said that Chris Gonzalez ain't gonna be able to lie to us anymore, sir, you don't barely go to the meeting, so how do you know if he's lying? Sherry Britton even told you she ain't seen you at the meetings. I mean, I am so confused with these people. He got to be living in Bikini Bottom, because you did not just knock on my door and say that the trustees were there when the money was taken, but you didn't say anything about who took the money. Okay, and got to be this part right here. This part right here. This part. Cause I'm total confusion about that whole situation. Okay. I'm not shocked that he's running for trustee Babe Solo. You know why? Because there are so many distractions out there now. We are 38 days away from getting this woman out of both of these seats, and people are coming out of the woodworks as distractions. Totally make no sense. Makes no sense. I showed you guys how he was harassing Ed Steve not once but twice. Now he's talking about Carmen and Chris not coming to meetings. I mean, have you not been there for the meetings when Carmen had been getting called out of her name? And Keith Price was there intimidating her, and Kamal and them have been in the back of the room causing commotion. Oh, okay. Maybe not. Maybe you wasn't there, but you want somebody to vote for you. This man is going to be at the town hall meeting on Tuesday. I do not want you all to forget what this man has done, what he has said, and who we have seen him be. This is nothing I'm making up. I'm not running him down. I just showed you video proof of who he is. We gonna start believing people when they tell us who they are, right? Okay, right. All right, now that we got that bit of business out of the way, I don't know if our special guest is ready because they had their microphone off. Let me see. I don't even know if the special guest is going to come on the screen. Special guest, let me know what you're going to do. Pop the screen on so I can see you, and then you can tell me yay or nay. That way I know. Okay, him and Cassandra is running for positions and don't know his duties. They running for positions, but they're not showing up to these meetings. Xavier, hi, beautiful. You really are something with the way you work. I haven't heard a lie yet, and I've been watching over 2 years. I've gotten more facts from you than the news God's will is being done. Oh, thank you, Xavier M. Oh, Xavier M, you about to make me cry. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Nope, not even. Still want to crack his back for coming at Alexis mom the way. Okay. He came at a lot of people that day. He came at a lot of people that day. That was insane. He almost got his back broke by security. Okay. Okay. Late but here. Good evening. Okay, let me see. Hold on. I'm getting a message. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm about to bring up the guest. The guest cannot come on camera because there's something wrong with their camera. Okay. You all press the like button. And now I'm going to bring up the guest. Now, let me see if y'all can hear this. It's going to be some background noise for a minute so I can see if y'all can hear something, okay? Oh, okay, y'all can. Okay, good. All right. He is too vicious and aggressive. He is very aggressive. I'm not into aggressive politicians. I'm not into any type of any politicians coming out talking about other politicians, because I don't want to hear about other politicians. I want to hear about what you think you can do better. I don't hear about all that other stuff. Okay. But patterns of behavior, I just showed them to you. Super producer don't be talking about nobody. I'm just going to show you what they do. And I just showed you what he does. And first of all, for you to stand there and say that Lil Stank haven't done anything wrong, absolutely not. That's the first thing. But you worried about the trustees was there when the money was taken. Well, who took the money? That's what I'm gonna ask you. All right, special guests. We have special guests in the building with us. They can't come on camera because something happened to their camera. Their camera is correct. But that's okay. Okay? Okay. So our special guest today is none other than our candidate for trustee at Thornton Township. Come on. Come on, Stephanie Wiedemann. Say hello to the people.
Hi, how are you?
All right, Stephanie. Now you're here on official business today.
Okay.
So today, let me put my glasses on because you got to get the interview, super producer.
Okay.
All right. First thing we're going to do is we're going to play a game. You like games, Stephanie?
I do like games.
Okay, we're going to play a game. Look, game, break the ice. Okay? Look, game, break the ice. Now, the game I chose for you is called Deserted Island. Okay?
Okay.
You're on a deserted island. You're stranded. You can bring 3 people, 3 things, and 3 food items. What are they? You want to start with the 3 people?
Yep.
All right, let's go.
I'm going to go with Kiana Belcher, Nikita Cloud, and Ladwina Holmes.
Love all of those choices. Those are some great choices. Okay, you're going to be safe on the island. I feel like y'all going to have fun. Kiana Belcher going to keep y'all in line, but you're going to survive.
Yep.
Okay, that's what I feel like. All right, what's the 3 things you're going to bring?
A knife, some netting, and a fishing pole.
Okay. We finna eat. We finna be safe. I liking this.
And
Now,
then
what's the
keep the bugs off.
okay? What's the 3 food items? Because I don't like bugs either, so I'm with you. 3 food items.
Non-perishables.
Okay. I ain't even gonna make you break it down. Non-perishables. I'm gonna take it. What's the second one?
I think I would use that for all 3 because who knows how long we would be there.
So you gonna have a can of what?
SpaghettiOs, ravioli. It's the kid in me.
And what else, Stephanie? What else?
Peanut butter.
Oh, okay. See, because I'm gonna have peanut butter, spam, and some type of bean. That's what I'm having.
Yeah.
Because you got the fishing pole.
Right.
Catch fish.
Right.
We can also use the net.
For sure.
Catch the fish and keep the bugs off. Double duty.
Yep.
Come on, double duty.
It's efficient.
Okay. All right. Everybody in the chat is saying hello to Stephanie. Stephanie, what I want you to do is you have the floor. The first thing I want you to start with is let's talk about the town hall meeting. So the town hall meeting is going to be held at South Suburban College in the gymnasium.
Correct.
What do you think the people need to know about that particular area in that day?
Well, it is a large space on a very neutral playing ground. The college has its own campus police. So I think that helps make everybody a little bit more comfortable. And again, the space is large enough to accommodate a very good crowd comfortably.
Okay. From what I was told, it holds 900 people.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure of capacity. I just know I've been in a couple times for graduation, and I would imagine there would be all of 900 people in there.
I have checked because Lil Stanka Booty gonna try. She gonna try it. So I have checked with the college. I have called the college and I have checked. And the capacity is 900.
I could only hope that 900 residents come out.
Boy, let me tell you, they're going to be coming in drones. So they're going to be there. Okay. So that's out of the way. Now, tell the people the rules.
Of course, it's a public meeting, so, anybody can come. You have to have your ID or driver's license. If you are a voter in Thornton Township, you will be given typically a card. I'm not really sure, if anything will be done different for this one. Of course, I'm not a part of the planning process. The clerk is handling that. But typically at an annual town hall meeting, if you can vote, you're given a card. So it's a pretty easy process. The moderator is nominated once the clerk calls the meeting to order. Once the moderator is sworn in, they will then run the meeting and follow the agenda. The floor will be open for nominations. Anybody can get up and make a nomination. Once the floor is closed, the voting will take place.
And there was a question the other night about if the clerk have received emails from people who also wanted to be nominated, will she be reading those, or will it have to actually be nominations from the floor?
It has to be nominations from the floor, and there has to be a second.
Okay, y'all heard it. So no emails to the clerk will be allowed. It will be strictly nominations from the registered Thornton Township voters on the floor. I told you, like I told you all a couple of days ago, I would say I nominate Stephanie Wiederman, and somebody else will have to say I second.
Correct.
And then her name would be put on the list, right?
Yes.
And so if somebody else's name gets nominated and seconded, they just go on the list with you and then there's a vote, right?
Correct.
Okay. Love that for us. So now the choosing of the moderator. So the clerk is supposed to be opening this meeting, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so the clerk opens the meeting and then she asks for nominations for moderator?
Yes.
So whoever gets nominated, then there's a vote for that, right?
Yes. It's the same process. The floor opens for nominations. Anybody can get up and nominate. Once it's closed, they'll take a vote.
And tell us about this compensation thing. How is that done?
So there is a compensation set for the person who does it. It's usually between three and it's always been 3 in my experience, at least for the last few years. I did see it on this previous budget and maybe the prior budget for 500.
Okay.
So it is a line item and it's typically, a check that is sent to the moderator after the meeting.
Okay. So compensation has already been set.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the budget. Once the moderator is chosen, the compensation is already set. And then the moderator takes over from there. The clerk goes and has a seat. And then the moderator takes over.
Yes, the clerk will stay up there with the moderator because should they need assistance, the clerk, would kind of help walk them through that. So she will stay sitting up there.
Okay, but she won't be like actively talking or participating unless the moderator asks her a question.
Correct.
Okay, so after the moderator is sworn in by the clerk, then they start with the nominations, right?
Yes. Well, yes. They'll call. Yes. They'll go through the agenda.
Oh, okay. So she'll just hand them agenda. She will tell them open the floor for nominations. The next thing is open the floor for nominations for trustee for the vacant seat of Jerry Jones, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool. We got that. Once the nominations are closed, then each name is called out separately and there's a vote, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Got that. Once it is decided who the winner is, then that person is sworn in immediately, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
You are correct. Yep.
When is the next meeting after this town hall for Thornton Township?
The next scheduled board meeting would be, it's the 4th Tuesday of the month. So
okay, let me check my calendar.
27th.
All right.
28th. 28th.
4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 28th.
Yeah.
Okay.
28th.
Yeah, because
I would think that given, what's been happening, I would think maybe a special board meeting could happen before that, possibly, if necessary. But of course, that would be a discussion probably for after Tuesday.
Okay. All right. Now we are going to move on to the interview portion of this live. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. My first question is, all right, what is your first priority upon taking the seat? So I'm going to assume that you all would need to regroup, meaning that you, Carmen, Chris, we know that Darlene is not on board. But you, Carmen, Chris will try to put items on the agenda. Is that what will be your first priority
I
as you
think
see it?
I think that it's important to, discuss the budget.
Okay.
Yeah, they're still operating in an old budget. And of course, passing the levy is important because, for operating, they need to make sure that, that those taxes are coming in. So I think the levy is very important. And the levy and the budget, they kind of go hand in hand, although they can be, voted on individually. They typically go together. So I think that should be a priority. I think, having a budget in place to control the spending is important. I think getting an understanding of where the finances actually are is important. I think that the trustees, Carmen and Chris, have done a great job of, staying on top of trying to put controls in place that prevent overspending and prevent credit card use, and they've been very efficient in doing that. So I think that they've got a head start, and that's great. But I think that the budget is something that we're definitely going to have to double down on.
And have you looked at this budget that Robert put out that was not endorsed by the current CPA firm hired by Thornton Township?
I have looked at several versions of this budget that they have put out. I have not gone online. Somebody told me that there was a link on the website that we could look at what was posted. I actually have not looked at that one yet. I'm assuming it's one that I have already seen. But yeah, the audit, the accountants, the budget was just kind of a byproduct of that, but they wouldn't sign off on the audit.
Which is an audit of that budget.
Of the township finances.
Right.
Yes.
Of the budget that was put on the comptroller's website. Because that's the budget that I've seen.
Correct.
Okay. So that's the version, the first version that you've thoroughly been able to look through.
That is the one that they're proposing.
Okay, so there's the proposed budget. And do you see anything in there that alarms you? You have extensive background in the township. You have worked in many areas. Is there anything in this budget that alarms you at first glance?
Yes, there is some grant money that they included in revenue, which they expended in line items. And grant money isn't always guaranteed. And she, from what I have FOIA'd from the township, it doesn't appear that there have been excessive grants given. So to assume that a grant in the sum of $5 million is going to come in is a dangerous way to spend money. So that was alarming. Also, creating a department for what almost feels like marketing and self-promotion with a $3 million budget is extremely alarming, specifically when we are a government agency that provides public services and resources.
And so Lil Stank likes monopoly money. So money that you don't really have yet is in this budget. And that's the same thing that I saw. That's the first thing that alarmed me. With knowing rules of certain grants. Yes, you may apply for them, but that doesn't mean that you'll be granted um the money.
Well, what I can assume is that 5 million that she's speaking of is the state allocation that was given prior to her being in office for the construction of the buildings. So a state allocation does require you to do some paperwork and things along those lines in order for the money to be released. I'm not sure that has been done, but it is a process to get it. So it's not necessarily a grant in the manner that people may first think to go to. I don't think they decipher between a state allocation and a grant, but this specifically was money allocated for a capital improvement project.
Okay. So, my reasoning, and I'm talking to the viewers, my reasoning for asking those questions, because as you can see, Stephanie has a proper grasp of a township budget and how the budget should look and where things should be placed. I think that's going to be extremely important going to these last 3 or 2.5 months, whatever we have left. Okay.
I would also like to add, while we're speaking about this,
Okay.
this $5 million, I would also like to add that I don't know how long, your viewers have been following this, but when she, first came into the supervisor seat in that very first year, they had taken out a $5 million loan. So, that $5 million loan, now the state allocation should offset that. I mean, I haven't seen that loan has been paid off. And she claimed that she took out that loan because, the township was in good financial position. We knew the money would come once the work was done. So the project was funded by Thornton Township, knowing that this capital improvement project was approved. She came in and took out a $5 million loan. So I would think it would be safe to say that if and when that $5 million came in, rather than expending it in other line items in your budget, I would think that would go to pay the loan off.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's talk through this, Stephanie. Let me see if I'm thinking what I'm thinking and what I'm thinking is right. So $5 million loan was taken out.
Mm-hmm.
There was a $5 million grant for improvement of the buildings.
Mm-hmm.
So when that money comes in, it should offset, the loan should be paid off, and we are now back to zero. So riddle me this. How are we giving bonuses and 100% tax refunds, and now we have no surplus?
Okay, so the tax refund that she's proposing is coming out of general assistance.
Okay. And do we have it? Do we have a surplus in that fund? Because we all know that little stank like to spend fictitious money.
She does. From everything I can see. Of course, I haven't seen a bank statement. It's not so easy to get that information. But I would find it hard to imagine, general assistance money, even though the supervisor, she always says, I have the ability to do what I want in general assistance. I don't need a vote. And she's somewhat correct. Once a budget is approved, she is allowed to make decisions solely about hiring and firing in general assistance, how to spend money as long as it's within the guidelines of the budget. So there is a different role the supervisor plays in general assistance than in general fund. Everything in general fund should be approved. Every layoff she did, every hiring she's done, it really should all go through the board. That's not quite how she's done things, and that's kind of a shame, but I just find it hard with the restrictions that are around the general assistance money that she would have found a way to actually go through the surplus.
And it's very hard for you to know if there's even a surplus when you don't know the full picture of what's been spent, what's not been spent, because she's operating in an old budget. So none of the current numbers that you see, that's an old budget. So that's not even the current, that might not be the current state of things.
Correct. I just think that more damage has been done through general fund, honestly, than through general assistance.
So let me ask you this question then. How is it that people are called in the township? There was a lady that made a public comment in Dalton, at a Dalton meeting one night, and said that she called the township for assistance with housing. And they told her they could not assist her because they did not have any money.
Ooh, I did not hear that.
Yes, it was a lady with glasses. I should have brought it up. I should have brought the video up. But it was a little short lady with glasses. Next time I see you, if I see her, I'm gonna tell you who it was, because she's been at the meetings ever since then.
Okay.
And I think she was at the last tea with a trustee. I was at, when I saw you. But she made a public comment and she said, I don't like Big Bingo. I don't want to go to Big Bingo. I need housing.
Right.
And I called down to the township and they told me they didn't have any money. So I just found that alarming. But you don't know, what I'm saying? You can't speak to that, but I just want you to know, know the layers. I'm trying to show people the layers, because you have people like Rayburn making comments about not voting for this person's lying. Sir, you don't even know the whole picture or the whole scope of what's going on because you're not paying attention. You're saying things that they're telling you to say, but you don't know. You know what I'm saying? You're not paying attention to what's actually going on.
Yeah.
So, okay. Now, next question I have. How do you think you can make the biggest impact in that seat with what time you have left?
I think that taking the time that I have spent with the residents and what they have expressed to me that they would like to see, their needs, their wants from Thornton Township, and preparing that for the next administration is very important. I think we're to a point in this race where focusing on the problem doesn't benefit us anymore. We see where the problems are. We know how those are being caused. We've all watched it unfold for 3 years. I think that we're to the point where we start focusing on the solutions and the rebuild and, making sure that our communities connect again and that our neighbors can talk to each other. And, I've been to a few meetings where, it's one thing for the residents to have strong opinions about the elected officials. We have standards for them, and it's upsetting when they don't reach those standards, and it's understandable. But I think that shouldn't be our neighbors' faults. Like, we all live here together. We interact regularly. We run into each other. I just think that it's important for us to focus on, moving forward and how we do that together. It's okay to disagree, but if we all want a great community, finding a middle ground shouldn't be hard.
And how, what's your vision? What's your vision of moving forward? What does that look like for you in this seat as a trustee? What does that look like?
It looks like solutions. There are problems at hand. We all see that. There's things that need to be handled business wise at the township immediately. It's, prioritizing and making sure that, we move business forward, all while, making sure that we think about, what's next. Because 3 months is not a long time. That's really only just a few meetings. So things have to be decided and done. And, you don't want to set the next people up for failure. It's going to be hard enough for them to, come in and try to pick up the pieces. So if we can start thinking about how to connect that for them, I think that, that's really giving the residents a head start, because instead of coming in and trying to catch up, they can focus on what the residents want. And, there can be those interactions and those conversations and questions. And I just think it makes a smoother transition, which is something that, we should be focused on. Because if it's a smooth transition and, more people are happy than not, because you're never going to make everybody happy all the time, I think that rebuild looks good. We've got strong communities here, and nobody wants to see them divided. We just got to come together, and people are going to be watching still, and we can show them what people coming together, what a community can really do.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. I feel like this is, first of all, I commend you for bringing your expertise to this portion of this seat. I feel like you guys are going to have a very hard, and you know what I mean by this, time once you get in the seat.
I fully agree.
It's gonna be a situation where you're just not gonna want to go in there, but it's gonna be what you're gonna have to do. Now, my question is as well, how do you plan to handle Lil Stank when she becomes disrespectful? What do you feel like the plan should be for that?
Honestly, my current plan is really to just bring my notebook and doodle on a piece of paper the way she does when the residents talk to her.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It's okay, Justin. Don't worry about it. Okay. I love that.
Because what I'm not going to do is go back and forth with her. Like I said,
right.
The residents are the focus. We know what business needs to be handled. And there's 5 votes. It's 5 votes. So
Which she won't have the majority anymore. So I'm just saying it's gonna be extremely difficult because that will be the fact.
yeah.
So I'm feeling like there's gonna be a lot of insulting,
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of temper tantrum because of that.
Yeah, and I'm fully prepared for it. I know
Okay, good.
there are other elements, her team, of course. Look, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not perfect. Nobody is perfect. I try to make good decisions. Will I keep my cool all the time? We shall see. But it is definitely I don't feel like I need to defend myself to them. I know that they're going to be tough, and that's okay.
I'm reading these comments. These people are on different time. I'm gonna stop reading the comments because they on a different time than we on right now. They have loads of suggestions for what you should do.
Listen, I have learned this last year that reading the comments while I'm on here, it's just not a great thing for me to do. I'm all over the place when I do
A
that.
lot of them are so funny. I'll read them after.
Okay.
Now, let's get to another question that I'm concerned about. And so it's like a twofold question. So the first question I'll ask you is about the insurance.
Mhm.
On the agenda, she has this Alliant insurance. Now, I have inside information that Frank never wanted to deal with them because allegedly they were a pay-to-play insurance company. She has it on the agenda. What are your thoughts about this insurance situation?
What I can tell you is that previously we did not use them. I really have no experience with them. And if I had to guess, I would say she didn't have many options.
That would
You
be zero.
know, right. We kind of, watch this, like I've said it probably more times than I would like to admit, but watch what has happened in Dalton. It's almost unfolding to a T at the township, just in like delayed time. We're like a year behind.
With that being said, can you please educate the people on how services work at the township level? Let me give you a scenario. I come in and I say I need rental assistance and you're at the desk. Go.
I would have you sign in. And then a caseworker from General Assistance would come out and assist you. They would kind of go through a briefing with you, kind of, just talk to you about what you were looking for, what the situation was, certain criteria that you have to meet. So they just do a brief kind of overview. And then from there, you would get an appointment date and time. And then you would come in and do the paperwork. And, then you would follow the process from there.
And so what does the process include? Does the process include me having to show financials, household members?
Yes.
There is a scale that you go by. What do they do at the township?
Yes, there is an income guidelines for you to qualify. You do have to be paying a mortgage. It is not, well, the rental assistance you can get, but you have to be a GA client for that. So that involves, well, it used to. I can't speak for if they still do it, but it required job training, which the township provided. You had to do some volunteer work, so you would come into the food pantry once a week and work for 3 or 4 hours. It does require specific requirements. Again, these are general assistance programs. Now, there is one-time help for anybody that lives in Thornton Township, that is emergency assistance, but that is at the discretion of the supervisor.
Okay. So I just want people to know you need to weigh everything that little stank says. Because when she says you're not gonna be able to get your light bill paid, I can't help you with this, I can't help you with that. The truth is she might not be able to help you at all because of the requirements.
Right.
Everybody is not coming. Everybody that comes in to the township for help may not be able to get help because of the criteria.
Right. And the township, through general assistance, does partner with some other entities to, help cover some of those utilities and things along those lines. All of those services like LAHEAP and CETA, those are offered through the township, but are not township services.
So it's a referral.
Right. It's so some of the caseworkers are trained as like ambassadors. So you can come into a township office and apply for those services, but the money comes from LAHEAP or CETA.
So you all just you're like the
Agents.
middleman, so that they don't have to go to that particular office. They can just fill out the paperwork there, and they will send it over.
Yes, and there are several offices like that throughout Thornton Township. We aren't the only one.
Right. Okay.
Right. So some of those services, just not to be mistaken with Thornton Township budgeted services, like
right.
assistance and the food pantry.
Right, Katura Davis, an intake officer. The discretion of the supervisor. How is that possible if you meet the requirements and the funds are there?
That's for emergency assistance only. And this is all through general assistance. And general assistance has its own guidelines statewide in any township. These same rules will always apply in general assistance. That's why I said it's a little more difficult to, although she has the authority to make the decisions within the budget, there are guidelines put in place through TOI, which is the Township Officials of Illinois, that kind of prevent anybody from just being able to pretty much do whatever they want, really.
Right. So Foxy Roxy is asking, who is the pro temp if supervisor not at the meeting? That would be the longest standing trustee, which I think in this case, unfortunately, is to tell the people, Stephanie.
It's actually...
Is it Carmen or Darlene?
No, it's actually, well, I would say Chris Gonzalez. Now, Darlene and Chris did get nominated get elected at the same time. But I mean, Chris Gonzalez has been at Thornton Township since before me.
But as far as in the trustee seat, because let me tell you what was read at the electoral board. So the vacate order for Tiffany and Darlene stated that Darlene was the longest standing trustee.
Yeah, they were elected at the same time, but Chris would have been eliminated from that process anyways because he's on the ballot.
Yeah, I was just, saying
so
what they were
Darlene
saying. So
would be the longest standing trustee, but her and Chris were elected in the same election.
Right. So it would be one of them. So whoever the longest standing trustee would be in terms of time. But then I also heard that Joyce, the trustee that passed away, she was actually the longest standing, and Carmen took her seat.
Correct.
And so it would be Carmen.
It would not. Carmen finishes her term, but Carmen's tenure starts when she's sworn in.
Okay. Just making some corrections and making sure we have it all right. All right.
Now, not an attorney, and this is just as I understand it to be.
Okay, yeah, and I'm just asking because I know that that was read out in the electoral board that Darlene was the longest standing trustee, and so I figured it was probably between Chris and Darlene, at this point.
Yes.
With who's left. Grant McCaskill says, hey, all in the queue. Question I have is, how are financials not audited in each town year by year, which should be overseen by the state government? Grant McCaskill, you might be late to the party, but I gonna tell you this: Lil Stank do not follow rules. She has not provided audits or budgets. She hadn't to the state for the better part of 3 years. Stephanie?
At the township?
Well, in Dalton, but at the township, I think Robert has been turning in. Has Robert been turning in?
He has.
Okay, so Robert has been turning in at the township, but as far as in Dalton, no.
Yeah.
Do you have information on the $1 million giveaway? Was this the one where she was saying it was $1 million for the mortgage people in February, and she only gave out $500,000 of the $1 million?
Yes.
Mm.
I actually that one was a new one. You know what? A ton of people have asked me of what she's come up with that wasn't previously there, and I just really drew a blank every time. But you just hit it right there. That's a new one. I have no idea what she was doing there.
And we have no idea where the other 468 some $1,000 went either.
We
Just
we
just
do.
let you all know.
I would hope that she would count that as part of her surplus, but you know, we
It only can be a surplus if it exists, Stephanie.
yes, ma'am.
I'm just saying.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just saying. I don't want no smoke. Don't you come over here with no smoke, little stank. I'm just saying. You say you got the receipts. We want the tea. You ain't gave us none. So I can only tell you, my assumptions. Hey, Dr. Nikita. How you doing, boo? All right. So I feel like, you're gonna get in the seat. We're gonna start to see things move. As far as now, let me ask you this. What is your take on Whitney Houston? And that's who I call the clerk.
I have known Clerk Wells for a very long time. I know, like I've seen people's opinions, but I've always known the clerk to be a very kind person. She, people say things about her hugging and smiling, and that's really just who she is. She still hugs me and smiles at me, and she treats everybody kindly. So I don't know. I have a different view of her, I think, than most people, because a lot of people have just seen what they see in the meetings. And, Clerk Wells is always going to show up and do her job. And sometimes her job, is working with the supervisor. And sometimes her job is working with the trustees. And she does both of those things greatly.
Interesting.
Because she does her job. And she takes pride in that. I don't by any means think that she would condone, I can only speak, to the person I know. I
Okay.
think that
Okay.
a lot of people are stuck in really crappy positions. And I think that Loretta is a good woman. And, I think that this probably has been tough for her. It's not a position a clerk ever thinks she's going to be in. They
Now
don't.
that is true.
Yeah, they don't run to have a vote. They don't run to, it's a different role they're taking, and she has been put in so many positions in her 4 years that most clerks would never see in a lifetime in a seat. I think that this just goes to us all, showing each other grace. And I do think there's boundaries. And of course, once those boundaries are crossed, it's a different game. But I think until then, we should all just be kind. Not everybody's situation is the same, and not everybody's personality is the same. I think that the way Loretta has carried herself has been the same way I have always known her to be. Very dignified, very respectful. Yeah, and she takes pride in her work. So she's always done the right thing as far as I'm concerned.
Now, somebody wants to know, why did the clerk wait so long to set up the special election? Now, Stephanie, I'm going to field this question, okay?
Uh-huh.
Now, we just heard what Stephanie said about Clerk Wells. Only thing we can do is take Stephanie's word. I want to say this about the position that Clerk Wells is in right now. Tiffany puts everybody in a tough position. Okay. Lil Stank puts everybody in a tough position. She puts pressure, and I wouldn't really say it's her because she's not going to want to be named in that type of stuff. So it really is the Shawshank Redemption law firm that has been hired to intimidate people, um, that would be putting pressures on these people and make it feel like a very tense work environment. And so we know that Loretta has had to deal with the electoral board, and she asked to be removed from that. Um, and she was loomingly having to deal with maybe possibly voting for the trustee in this seat. Um, so I'm going to say that she was under extreme anxiety and pressure, and she, took the amount of time that she needed to decide which way she wanted to go. And sometimes that has to be done, and somebody said once the Shawshank Redemption law firm tried to throw her under the bus, I think that confirmed which way she needed to go. So that's the way she went. How did I do, Stephanie?
You did good. I
Okay.
think I think my opinion would be, I mean, not too far off from yours. I think that there was never a question in my mind whether or not she was going to do the meeting. Like I said, she does her job. So when the residents turned in that letter, I knew that the clerk would do her job because that's what I've always known her to do. Um, I think that what she would have liked was to have had everybody on the same page. And I think that she, if I'm right, would have been spending that time trying to put in the effort to make that happen. And then when it didn't, she proceeded as she had to.
And we are, listen, we can't expect us out of other people. What we would do and what they would do is two totally different things.
Correct. 100%.
So, I do want to say that, I may be hard on Loretta at times. I understand the constraints that she's under, and I understand that I'm different from her. Because Lil Stank wouldn't be able to tell me nothing. See what I'm saying? But I'm different from her.
Correct.
I do have some questions about some of the minutes and some of the votes that's on her minutes, that's on the website.
I
But
think those are fair questions.
That she needs to answer or she needs to correct or whatever needs to be done. I feel like she just needs to do it. And we probably need to allow her the grace to do that, because she has been in some rough positions throughout this entire time. Yeah, Justin, you can go ahead and do that. So yeah, because she better than me, because I would have been done punch Lil Stank in the throat. Because that's just crazy, to put somebody under those constraints when you know the rules. So wow. Yeah. Well, Stephanie, any parting notes that you want to give to the people? I mean, this is your time. I'm going to let you have the floor to either state your case or, to the people for trustee for their vote. So whatever it is that you would like to say, I would hope that you would give the people your credentials. That's the one thing I forgot to do, because I have a lot of new viewers that may not actually know, who you are. We just saw Rayburn lives in Bikini Bottom, and he didn't know who Sherry was. So, let the people know who you are and why you deserve their vote. And you have the floor.
Well, I am pretty much a lifelong resident of Thornton Township. I did move out for a few years, but I came right back because it's home, and I have, 20 years experience in Thornton Township. So that gives me a genuine view, a unique view of how things work and what is needed. Um, I've been engulfed in these 17 communities for my entire adult life, in a service form. I take pride in, what the township stands for and what it brings to communities and how it can make people connect. And I believe in connecting and, being a part of a community. So I want everybody to just keep in mind, I know it's going to be cold Tuesday. I am positive that the clerk's office has a plan to, get people, in and moving quick. There is a long corridor outside of the gymnasium at the college, so it'll be, warmer if you're in the upper part of that line, so you'll be outside for less time. Doors open at 5 p.m. Meeting starts at 6 o'clock, and everybody should make sure they find me and say hi when they're there.
I'm loving all of this for you. Um, for me, I feel like this is going to be a great thing. It's going to feel very rather starting to feel normal once you get in the seat because things will flow. We're still going to hear the gaslighting, and all of that stuff because she's a child. Um, but I think that you're going to bring some great knowledge to that seat. And we are just going to see things getting done, which we haven't been able to see for a few months because of, the things that have been happening. Harold says, how will Stephanie feel when she is sitting in the trustee seat facing the queen of chaos? I wish she could give her a two-piece with a Hawaiian punch. Listen, I got the best followers over here, but how are you gonna feel?
Um, Honestly, it just feels like home. It I know what we're up against. I just think that again, it's time to push forward. So I'm going to spend less time focusing on the chaos that she's causing and more time focusing on what we need to do to push the township forward, to make sure that, the residents are serviced, to make sure that we're addressing their issues. I know she's not going to give me an opportunity during public comments to answer people's questions, but I'll stay. We can hand out index cards. You can write down what you want to know, write an email, a phone number. I can respond to you that way. I think that, really giving people the answers they've been looking for you know, is a big part of this process. Maybe putting up a link that, shows the board books. And I don't know, I have some ideas that, I think community involvement is important, that, maybe the residents can guide the way they want it to look. And I just think that we can find ways to be productive without spending time on what, like you said, the gaslighting and the smoke screens. And we know she's going to do that, but let's focus on something solution driven on this side and just kind of leave her over there.
Okay. Listen, I love these ideas that you have um in order to be able to calm the chaos so that the business can get done.
Correct.
So, maybe before the meetings I can announce here on the platform that hey, say your public comment. Don't get upset. Stephanie will stay after the meeting, or there'll be index cards on the podium. Please write your index on the index card, and then you can hand it to Stephanie, and she may, she'll be able to respond to you, you know, later on in the evening or the next day. Is that
100.
how?
Yep, 100%. That is something I would completely be open to. Hopefully, a lot of the questions I could address immediately, but if I can't, follow up would be, very, very important. I think that, the people have been shut out long enough. And if I can open that door and, at least start that connection, I think for the residents, at minimum, it's a win. And I mean, all of our drive should be the residents. We're all in these positions because of them. I'm not saying I didn't work hard and I didn't contribute everything I could to these communities, but ultimately my salary has always come from their tax money. I owe them. I acknowledge where it's come from. I respect where it's come from. They're the reason I go hard. They're the reason I try to do what's right. They're the reason I stand up.
All right, you guys heard it. I love the fact that you all, for at least these, for the next 2.5 months, you're going to be able to get some answers. You're going to be able to get some answers going forward, regardless, because the
I
stank
agree.
won't be in the seat anymore. But I do want you all to keep in mind, if your question is financial in nature, Stephanie will not be able to answer it for you at this junction because they're not getting information about the financials still at this time. So, um, just allow for grace. We've got 38 more days. Um, Stephanie, do you have a channel? People in my comments are asking. Do you have a
I
YouTube channel?
I do not.
Okay, Stephanie, I about to say y'all don't know Stephanie. She don't do that.
No, I do not. This is all so much out of my comfort zone. I mean, if you go back in my career, you might find 15 pictures that I'm in. I always went and did the work. It's still my thing. I go do the work and then I disappear. It's just always, you know, I do the leading up to. I spent almost my entire career hiding from the microphone. Frank would introduce me. I would not go on stage if he made me. It was bad. And so this whole process has been very different for me,
Oh
to be
well,
to be quite honest. And
well, I feel like you did. You've done a great job.
it's very humbling, I will say. It's very humbling. The support has been amazing. That's why, I just want everybody to have the best view of our communities. I think that the picture that has been drawn by what has taken place, you know, I'm glad people are seeing, the unity start with the residents, and, for that view to be shifted and not base what we're seeing happen in the township and Dalton define who we are as a whole.
Right. I feel like um this has been a long moment in time. But what people don't know is before this there was none of this. Like this kind of chaos is new to everybody out here.
Yeah.
Especially like this loud. I ain't gonna say that there's not things that don't go on in different pockets, that wasn't going on in different pockets, but you know, um just this loud, just drawing so much attention, just and not positive attention, negative attention.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm sure that the residents are going to be grateful when you get in that seat, because they're going to be able to get some of their questions answered. There's a question here, Stephanie, as we finally gonna name the township building after Zuccarelli after she gets the boot? That's what they want to know.
Well, it was voted on. So the people spoke. My assumption would be it would probably take place. I mean, I cannot speak for the next administration. I can only speak, obviously for me, but it was a referendum question.
It was a referendum question that was asked, and um, the residents voted yes,
Mm-hmm.
and it still hasn't been done.
Correct.
So I'm just letting you all know, this next administration that comes in, they have a lot of things to take care of. I'm sure that won't be at the top of the agenda. I'm sure it'll get in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But um Couture Davis, no. Uh Lil Stank has literally tore this township up. So no, Frank Zuccarelli was never like this. During Frank Zuccarelli's time, man, there was so many services coming out of this township. Um, services that people didn't even know about. There were mental health services. I mean, just all types of services. The mental health services were the best services.
And it is a shame what has happened to that department. She did that whole media run claiming that mental health was important, wanted to raise the taxes for it. But the very department that provided those services, she has dismantled.
Right, and literally fired most of the people that had been there for years
Yeah,
in
and
that department.
currently the only employee left there is Kamal Woods,
Oh,
and maybe a receptionist.
and we know he ain't certified. Child. He the certified nanny though. Anywho, let me drink my tea. Child, that was a little bit of tea. Sorry. um so wow, and there's a lot to put back together
There is.
when it comes to the township. And some people have been talking about that this might give Springfield the fuel to get rid of the townships.
The talk of eliminating township government, honestly, that's kind of floated around for at least half of my career. Um, the Thornton Township used to be the model on why townships were necessary. A lot of people claim that it's duplicate government, and our municipality should provide it, and they think they'll get tax money back, but none of those things are true. We do provide to a group of people that the county and state will not. We do provide resources that some municipalities don't. And if the township were eliminated, those taxes would not go back into our households. They would be absorbed into the municipalities, which would now be responsible for providing what the township once did.
And realistically, how long do you think it might take to sort all of these things out?
All of the things that need to be fixed.
Yeah.
I think it can be done within, the first 2 years. I think that rebuilding the youth department and the mental health programming is going to be very hard because, as far as I can tell, there's nothing left there. So rebuilding all of that would be very difficult, and everybody with experience is gone, and the youth director who previously ran that department for 20 plus years passed away. So you're really left with, completely new people rebuilding something from the ground up. And when you have to be very specific about who you hire and what qualifications they have and how they deal with the public, they're very specific positions. So rebuilding this is definitely going to probably be one of the harder departments to pick up. Um, I think that for the most part, the rest of the departments, at a minimum, have been running. Senior services prior to COVID, the lunches that they now hand out in vehicles were sit down lunches. It was about community and bringing people together. I think that, going back to some of that might, you know, serve people better than just, handing a lunch through their window. That was just a COVID fix. So again, keeping the residents in mind and what they may want. I think that some of it may be just listening to them at meetings and kind of getting a grasp of what they want and making adjustments that way.
And let's be fully transparent and honest here. A lot of those departments may not be able to come back after they find out what financial situation that they're in. Um,
Everything we talk about, of course, depends on the financial situation.
yeah, I mean, that's the biggest question mark, that would have to be dealt with before, you could figure out how long this is going to take.
Yes.
Um, Winky Wonder asks, are there employees that Tiffany let go who you think might come back under new leadership?
Um. Oh yeah, of course. I'm trying to think. People who have moved on and gotten into new positions and new careers. Um, I would think that those group of people would probably be more inclined to stay where they're at. Especially if it's not a job where, God forbid, the administration could change every 4 years. Um, that's a tough situation to live in, especially if you're raising a family or, things along those lines. So, but I do think that there would be a group of people that would be willing to risk it all to come back and be part of the rebuild. So, yes, would be my answer. I do think there would be people that would be willing to.
I think under different leadership and different circumstances, um, that a lot of people will come back. Now, that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, because from what I know from visiting there, um, there was a great work environment before little stank booty came.
It was.
Um, huh?
It definitely was. We were a family, sometimes dysfunctional, but a family nonetheless.
Right. I mean, all families are, dysfunctional in some way.
Hmm.
We're all families are going to fight. All families are going to make up, and they're going to do it over and over and over again because
And
that's what
we
families
did.
do.
Yep,
Yeah,
and we did.
that's what families do.
But
Um,
when stuff needed to come together, when services needed to be provided, all that was put aside. We did what we needed to do, and eventually, like you said, things were fine again, and it was a very, maybe sometimes too comfortable, because
mhm.
I'll say a million times, nothing was ever perfect. And, you learn as you go, and sometimes you learn after you go. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. We did some things that people called us out on, that the media called us out on, but nobody's expecting perfection. We're expecting honesty and, you know, corrections. If you make a mistake, be honest about it and correct it moving forward. Nobody's saying that you have to know everything all the time. It's the way you deal with those things that kind of, I think, decipher what kind of person you are.
All right, I'm gonna ask you this one last question. Um, because this has been a hot topic, because it has been made to be a hot topic. For me, it is a mute point, but I'm gonna ask the question because somebody asked it here.
Okay.
Stephanie, do you think Chris Gonzalez was fooled into nominating Lil Stank, or was it planned and he did not vote to fire you?
So I don't think it was planned. I mean, yeah, I don't think it was planned. I think that bad timing, bad circumstances, a lot of emotions. It was just a really chaotic time. And I think everybody, it really is a tough situation to explain. I mean, I was there and it's tough for me to explain. So I definitely stand on the fact that I do not think it was a plan. I think that sometimes from a distance, things you you would have thought that Tiffany was actively part of our team. Frank supported her. They did have a relationship. You know, what I knew those things to be may not have been what other people knew those things to be. I was involved at a level that a lot of people weren't. So I think that although what was happening in Dalton was happening already and people were hearing rumbles of it, and it was still early on, I don't think anybody, specifically Chris, anticipated that this was what we'd be up against. I think that it was somebody that was involved at some level, somebody that, had, interest in the seat. And I think it was just circumstances, like unfortunate circumstances that we could probably never duplicate again, ever. But nobody's perfect. And he was fair and tried to make it work. And when he saw that it was a problem, he spoke up. And he did so alone for a really long time. And he got beat by the public for the decision he made. And then he got, beat by the board for, standing against her. I mean, I think Chris has, acknowledged that he made a mistake and that he's trying to fix it. And I respect him for that.
A mistake, mind you, that he was not the only one that voted. This really, this really, really, really sends me to another place. Um, this whole conversation around this day, this vote. Um, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, why did they want to keep it out of the residents' hands?" Because for one, it's their duty. It is their duty to appoint someone when there's a vacant seat, right?
Correct.
So you're not keeping it out of the residents' hands. You're actually doing your duty. So they have an obligation to fill the seat. This is not trying to keep it out of the residents' hands. They had an obligation to fill the seat.
Correct.
Mind you, I feel like there were more names nominated than just Tiffany. He nominated several other names that everyone said no to.
Mm-hmm.
He nominated Little Stank's name and they said yes. He had one vote. One. It took all of the rest of the people to say yes for it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand how we're blaming this man for a nomination. Should we blame the people, the Republican Party, for their nomination of Donald Trump? It was a nomination.
Yep.
I mean, I'm confusion. This really gets on my nerves about, was there a hidden agenda? She was in the room.
Yeah.
Yes. Did he know that she was the mayor of Dalton? Yes, he did. But did he know what was going on in Dalton? Maybe, maybe not. He don't live in Dalton.
Yeah, and she had actively expressed interest. She threw her name in there. So it wasn't like, he just pulled it out of his hat. I mean,
Queen
really
Fitz.
think that we couldn't redo.
Right, Queen Fitz. Let me tell you something about early on what people were saying. Guess what? What people were saying, they could say that it takes 250 licks to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. And that might not be the correct thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. People say lots of things. They like buttholes. Everybody got one.
Yeah.
Everybody got one. So everybody have something to say. That don't mean that it's true. Right? See, these are the things that get me because I don't know what's true and what's not true. I wasn't there. Like, I can't see that this man benefited in any way, shape, or form from this nomination because guess what he getting? Beat the hell up with the rest of the folks. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I would agree with you. I don't believe there was any benefit in the actions that were taken.
Regina, this part, the only person to blame is Lil Stank because guess what? At the end of the day, she didn't have to make the decisions and the choices that she made. She didn't have to. So please, y'all wrap this up. Y'all wrap whatever this talk is up about nominations, about is this person's fault, is that if you're on a personal agenda and you don't like Chris, just leave it at you don't like Chris. Okay? Just stop. Wrap this up. Wrap that up. Because for me, I'm tired of hearing it. Because it's a nomination. If you was in a room, you would have had a nomination. You would have no idea what this person is going to do with the nomination that you made. And if they make a wrong decision, would you want everybody blaming you for a decision that they're making as an adult? Think about it. I'm just asking you to think about it. Think about, go to the Lansing Journal, look at their breakdown of the nomination process, and then let's stop spreading these narratives, these false narratives about this person was promised this person was promised that, and ask yourself, did they get what they was promised? Okay? Please. Lord have
Or
mercy.
ask that person. Chris is always willing to communicate with residents. If people have questions for him, he will answer.
And definitely he will. It is a plan of mine to have him on this platform. I don't know when, but it is a plan. Winky Wonder, people don't come here to hear me sing. Okay? Sing the song you closed with last night. Okay, let go and let God. Okay, please. We need to move on in a forward direction, as Trustee Wiedemann has said, and we're gonna start calling her Trustee Wiedemann. That's what I want y'all to do when y'all see her. When y'all address her in Dalton politics, I want you to address her as Trustee Wiedemann from now on. Okay? When Tiffany was nominated in the video, Trustee Jerry Jones winked at Tiffany. He never voted with her. Why is the only one blamed? Because that indicated how it was going, along with sending out a text. Be honest. We don't know any of these things that you're talking about. I can't verify, fact check, none of this. I don't know. I have no idea. But I know one thing. We here now. That's what I can tell you. We here now, and something is about to be done. Trustee Wiedemann about to get in his seat. Okay?
I'm probably going to answer better to Stephanie. No need to get formal. I'm still just a little old resident.
Oh no. It's time to get to the business. We got to start respecting these seats. Like the Shawshank Redemption law firm said. So when you get in it, you make them respect it. you say, oh no, you finna respect this seat. Okay? That's what you finna do. Y'all get that? At the moment he is standing to get, Lord have mercy. Y'all know what type of time y'all on tonight. Okay. All right. Don't y'all be asking me about the singing of the songs and all that stuff. Stephanie don't want to hear me sing. All right. Stephanie, I'm going to ask, let me see. I know that some people in my private community had a few questions to ask for you. So we're going to end this live. And if you would, just for you got about 15 more minutes?
Sure.
Okay. We're going to go into my private community. So everybody that is a member of All in the Queue, my members, let's go into the private community, and we are going to talk with Stephanie. Does Stephanie have a stun gun? She don't need a stun gun. Bob BKG said, good luck, Stephanie. I hope you get that seat. And she will.
Thank you very much.
These people in his comments got me weak. Winky Wonder, you are funny tonight. So all of the members, Winky Wonder, I'll do the song over there in the private community. Okay. I wonder why they keep letting MSNKP waste time and resources with these agendas. Because, child, everybody love a car crash. That's why. All right. Do you want to hear from music? Oh, my God. All right. See y'all on the 21st. Nice and early. It's going to be cold. So layer if you get caught outside. Layer. Get you some hot hands from the Walgreens or the CVS. Get you some hot hands. Put in your pockets. Okay? All right? Get you some hot hands. Put in your pockets. Get you some hot hands. Put in your pocket. Get you a little thermos filled with some hot chocolate, some coffee. Stop and get coffee or something. So you keep warm if you get caught outside. But let's try to be on time. What did I say? Emotions on 1, respect on 10.
I love that.
Okay. Emotions on 1, respect on 10. I'm going to be in the building. Believe me, I'm going to do everything in my power to keep it emotions on 1 and respect on 10. Okay? Because we need to get the business done. Okay? Okay. So listen, we get ready to close this out, and members only. We going over into the private community. Winky Wonder, I can sing for you over there. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna do it, Winky Wonder. Let me, because this what we need to make sure that, listen, in good times, in bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for. Okay? Listen, we all gonna be friends on Tuesday. Even with the Tiffany people, we gonna keep calm. Okay? All right. We out of here, and we going into the private community. I'll see you guys over there.
Bye. Thank you.
So what you gonna do? All in the queue, it's hella to you. All in the queue, just